Yes, people, we're back. Big up to everyone that's here. Enjoying the sunshine. Sunny again. I can't really understand this weather. One day it's cloudy, then overcast. Next day, I've got my shorts and t-shirt on. Yesterday, my dad had his shorts on. Judges had his shorts on. I had my trousers on. And I didn't know who I was jealous of, really, because one minute it was cold, next minute it was hot again. It's very, very bizarre, this weather. But anyway, big up to everyone that's here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Make sure you're also following 12th Man over on my channel. I've got a show later on tonight where LB from Manchester City is going to get a roasting. Deji has already planned what he's going to be saying to him. So make sure you come and check that one out at 8 o'clock. That's going to be quite good fun. Big up to you, judges. And thank you yesterday, because obviously we actually watched the game together, which was nice.
Yeah.
Sat next to each other. And that's the first time we've properly done that at the Emirates. I know we've stood together before at away games, but actually, it was quite nice, wasn't it?
It was lovely, and it was at the Emirates as well. So that's the first time. So, and it's a different thing at the Emirates, isn't it? Like away games are completely different. I know we've done that a few times, but it's a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere when you're at home. I quite enjoyed it, Dan. I've got to say, a lot of people moaning about it and whatever, but I thought for an end of season game, there was a little bit riding on it, and it turned out to be an enjoyable game. I thought, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was all right. Look, the first few minutes, I thought we could have been 2 down. If it weren't for Raya, then, and probably if Isak was playing, it could have been a different story, to be fair to your judges, because I think the first few minutes, we didn't really settle, did we? In the first half, it weren't a very impressive first half. I don't think me and you thought it was quite as bad as what some did. When I've been speaking to people after, they were like, that was the disgrace. It was awful, shambles. Maybe we were just quite relaxed chatting about football and life, but I didn't feel like it was an absolute shocking first half. I will say it wasn't very exciting, and we didn't really have much in terms of chances. But David Raya, although he can't kick a ball all of a sudden, he can certainly save him with his hands, mate. I thought the first 20 minutes or so, I thought it was great.
Listen, I thought, it is funny because you actually want a goalkeeper to be really good with his goalkeeping, and he's not so much as kicking. And I heard about 4 or 5 people on the way home going, "Oh, his kicking was rubbish and all that." Like, I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, goalkeeping is what it's about. And he kept us in the game with 2 unbelievable saves. I think, like, you know what I mean? The one from Burn, is it the one from Burn from the corner? Was incredible. That was an incredible save. You know what I mean? So from my point of view, his kicking is one of the reasons he's at the football club. We know that, like, but I think he's gone up a level this season. I've got to say this, like, and I thought defensively, we was all over the place again yesterday, and he produced when it really matters again, like he's done, and he's done it time and time again for us this season. I think that's the golden glove on it, and I thought deservedly so. I think that he was brilliant yesterday, like brilliant, and I tell you what. Also, there was a couple of times, there was a couple of iffy moments yesterday, and he plucked out a few good crosses. There was a big, good punch as well. Like very, very good, commanding goalkeeper. Listen, he's proved me wrong this season. He had a fantastic season, and listen, well, yeah, you're right. We could have been 2-0 down, but I'm going to say something about this. When people say that, could have been 2-0 down if it weren't for the goalkeeper. But what's he there for?
Facts. He's there to start your save, isn't he?
He is there to stay shot. That's what he's there for. So I don't.
As Roy Keane said, he's done his job. That's what Roy Keane said.
Yeah. So I don't get this when people say this, and I also have to say a lot of people say, they didn't have Isak playing yesterday. Like, they had one or 2 players out. Like, we've had 1 or 2 players out all season. Yes, of course. So when you see that, and all these Arsenal fans having a go and all that, like, but we the narrative of it all, Dan, is but we beat Newcastle without their 2 players. We've had a lot of our best players missing all season, but they can see the reasons why Newcastle are no good, but they can't really see the reasons Arsenal are. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to put a little bit of context in it, like, So, listen, I think that yes, we could have been 2-0 down, but as far as I know, we pay him a good wage to save goals.
Mate, look, Raya, strange old season for him, I've got to say. I thought he was excellent, Raya, in the first first half of the season, maybe going into the second half of the season. And then I think he just made a couple of errors, and I think he got a bit cocky. He does frustrate the life out of me at times where he's doing this. I want to play a centre back. I want to kind of, taking touches on the ball. And I don't want to start slating him because it's modern day football. I'm a little bit old school, judges. I like my goalkeeper to be able to be a goalkeeper, not a centre half as well. But I understand that football's evolving. But we've got a couple of injuries again, mate, at the back. Now, it was funny because I was on a stream February, March time, and I said, who'll get injured next? I said, Saliba or Timber. They're the only two that are playing consistently, and they need a break. And we've got nothing in relation to cover because Tomiyasu and Ben White's out. And we still don't have centre-back cover for Saliba even now. So I said they're the next two to get injured. Oh, no, they won't get injured as well. There's absolutely no way they'll get injured as well. Well, they've got injured, mate. Saliba came off injured, we believe. We haven't heard anything or updated on it. And Julian Timber needs ankle surgery, mate, and he's going to be out for the rest of the rest of the season. There's only one game, but you know what I mean. So he'll be out till next year as well. If I'm honest with you, I don't give a damn about this last game. I just want everyone fit for next season. That is all I care about now. Havertz, Saka, Timber, Rice, Saliba, all the players that are coming back from injury. I wish that, Tomiyasu, Gabriel and Jesus all have a speedy recovery so they can get fit ASAP as well. Injuries, as much as it is not an excuse, it has been a horrific season for Arsenal for injuries. I'm not saying that is the reason why we didn't win anything. I'm not saying it should be used as the excuse because it can happen. Last season, we got no injuries at all. We were the luckiest team in the league last year. We still won nothing. So it ain't, we won nothing because we can't get injuries. Well, we didn't have injuries last year. We didn't win anything. But for me, it has been a bad one. Why? I genuinely want to know. I want to know your thoughts. Why? Is it unlucky? Is it just one of those things? Is it maybe we need to be looking at other individuals or regimes or fitness or coaching or training or something? Because I think it needs to be investigated how Arsenal can get, I think Robbie said it yesterday, 27 injuries in a season. That is too many, Lee. Why?
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and it's something that's got to be looked into. Whether they're being if I'll be really honest, I think two things. One, that they didn't get enough rest during the close season, like 3 weeks. I think Saka got 3 weeks. Who else would have been? Rice, a couple of others like that. So you think, right, okay, all right, fair enough. That's a fair excuse. The ones that didn't were Odegaard, Ben White, and extra. They've got injured as well. So there are things in there, but I think generally, like, if you're not getting the proper rest, I think that's going to be one thing to do. And then secondly, I think being overplayed. It's like, if you play, the more times you play, the more chances are you're going to pick up an injury. It's just the basics of it all. There's no guarantee. I'm all into this thing like, all right, resting players and all that. It's when and just, how you do it and a little bit of luck to it. For instance, Saka got injured after being rested at Crystal Palace against Crystal Palace in the cup game on the week, and then played on the Saturday and got injured. It's just one of those things like that does happen. But I do think that certain players are maybe playing with injuries, playing with knocks. We're being told now that Timber's been having to have an ankle injury repaired because he's been playing for it for so long. Well, so if you're playing with injuries, it's going to happen, Dan. Why so many injuries? I don't know. The Odegaard one, for instance, happened on international football. Saka injury, I know he got a long-term playing for Arsenal, but the initial injury happened when he was playing for England, wasn't it? And then he sort of rushed back a little bit. So is it because they're getting rushed back a little bit quicker? Or I don't know. Havertz got one bloody on holiday, really, like, a warming trip, like, so I don't know, Dan, it is a mystery, but it's something they've got to look into, like, is it training? Is it not having enough rest in between training? I think that Mikel picked up on it yesterday as well. Playing every 3 days constantly, like, is something that perhaps this club and team haven't been used to over the last few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and people go, oh, well, we've been playing here. What I mean is propagate, like, we'd play on a Sunday and a Thursday in the Europa League, you could make 5 or 6 changes in the Europa League, different change. But nowadays, now with the Champions League, we're having to play that same sort of two tough games every week, like, you know, where you can't really afford to play a squad. Do you know what I mean? Where you could in the Europa League, certainly can in the Conference League. So
do you think though, like, because sorry to interrupt you, but do you think? Because I think it's relevant. Do you feel that Mikel has something to play for? I'm not saying it's always Mikel, by the way, before someone starts saying, but I looked at the scenarios of it and I just thought, as much as I appreciate you want to play your best team and take every game seriously to win it, I don't think he has trusted his squad enough, if I'm honest, at times. And I do think there's definitely question marks over certain individuals, i.e. Saka, Saliba, Timber, certainly this season, Declan Rice. I understand they're your best players and you want to play them. Gabriel's another one. They're the ones now that are getting injured. And I look and I think, you haven't really got anybody else but to blame but yourself then, Mikel, because you haven't played Gabriel. You didn't rest Gabriel against PSV when we beat him 7-1. Why did you play him in the second leg? You didn't have to do that. Saka played against Bolton and Preston. What for? You know, Saliba has played in every single game for the past 18 to 20 months. You got Timber, who's off the back of an ACL. And I appreciate Tomiyasu and Ben White's injured, but you've done nothing to try and change it up when you've got 7 fullbacks on the bench. You know, I just look at the scenario and think maybe there's a question mark over, did Arteta like overplay them? And I think the other question I've got to ask is, the last 2 seasons, he hasn't trusted his squad and players that he brought in. So he hasn't trusted Zinchenko, but he's his player. He hasn't trusted Sterling, but he's his player. He didn't trust Reece Nelson or Fabi Vieira last year, but they were both his players. Why is that, Lee? I just can't answer that question, basically.
Do you know what? I can't either. I will say that I do think he likes a small squad because it's easier to manage.
Yeah.
I think that there's something in that. But I think if you want to go deep in the Champions League, you want to go deep in the FA Cup, you want to go deep into winning leagues and all that, I think you need a bigger squad, and you've got to be a bit more, not ruthless with it, but like manage it a little bit different. And for instance, you know, the likes of, listen, footballers all want to play, Dan. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure that Declan Rice, Saliba, and Saka don't go in on a Monday and think, you know, I hope I'm being rested or knock on his door and say I want to be rested. They want to play. I get that, but sometimes it's the manager's job to say, right, Saliba, you're not playing today. You're not playing against Tottenham at the weekend because we've got, you know, Inter Milan in the quarterfinals of the Champions League or something like that, or the other way around. You know what I mean? Like we're playing you this game, but you're not playing on the Champions League night. I think you can look at that, Dan, and go, right, well, with the goalkeeping situation, the goalkeeper's played one game, which is dead rubber. He hasn't really trusted another goalkeeper to come in. I see other teams playing goalkeepers in different games. So that's another thing you've got to do, you know. Got away with that this year, you know, Dan, if I'll be really honest.
Yep.
On the goalkeeping thing, got away with it, like, you know, bit lucky there. But I do think that they've got to be able to do that. And what you've got is like I'm not saying it is like with Ben White and Timber, that, you know, they can be swapping and changing games over and not burning themselves out. But if you play someone like Timber all the time, you know, like Ben White, then 5-6 games not playing, when you got asked, right, you've got to come in, Ben, he's not quite ready for it, like, you know. So you've got to get these players, they've got to always be ready. So I think that we've got to strengthen the squad by bringing in players that are going to start in the 11. So the team that we've got now that's not been quite good enough to win the league is a whole squad thing. And you can't have no passengers, Dan. I think I'm right with you on this. I've seen too many passengers on the bench.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had injuries and all that, but too many passengers like that are picking up good money to be sitting on the bench doing nothing, or youth players that you know, that I'm looking at them like yesterday. There's a kid on there, he's a gal that's warmed up more, you know, more times than he's ever going to play for Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, he's probably never ever going to play for Arsenal, and that can't be good. And I don't mean that in a critical way or anything like that. And I'm really not being critical when I say that, because it's a fantastic achievement for these kids to be even there or thereabouts. But if you're looking to win titles and you're looking to go deep in Champions Leagues and things like that, you've got to have a bench that you. Someone said to me yesterday at football, and do you know what? He is right. You're only as good as your bench, or you're only as good as your weakest player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's right, really. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're playing a game and you pick your 11, and then you're putting on players that are weaker, well, how are you going to win games? If you don't win that game with that 11, you're not going to win it. So you've got to have a strong bench down. And that's something that I don't think that we've had in a bloody long while. I look back when we was winning titles. Someone said, I think Turkish said it today, Wiltord was a very, very important player for us winning titles and all that.
Yep.
But wasn't the main man, if you know what I mean. Like, Henry was the main man, but he still got his game time. He still played enough game, when to say,
Wiltord and Kanu and Reyes and Van Persie and Fabregas, these were the squad players back then. Like, you look at the squad players now, and they were massively important squad players. Wiltord won us that double in 2002. Kanu, look how vital he was for games and goals for us, and it was like Pires or Reyes, we didn't know who to play, Parla or Lundberg, Edu and Gilberto. These were all top quality squad players. It weren't like, oh, crikey, we've got an injury there. He's got a bloody come in now. That's the level we got to get to, man. And I know not every club's like this, by the way. I don't care about every club. I care about Arsenal. I care about what we need to win this tournament, these tournaments and these cups and these trophies. And at the moment, I think I would be honest with you. I'd say for the last, well, God knows how long ago I can remember, we've had probably 14 players that I would trust. And that's not enough. It might be enough to win you a cup, but it ain't enough to go all the way and be competitive in all four trophies, is what Arsenal should be doing. And, look, I still question Mikel Arteta. He should have won a trophy by now with that squad. If Glasner can do it, if Pep can do it, if Howe can do it, if Slot can do it, all these managers that have done it, he should be able to do it, right? But I don't think the squad's strong enough to go on all four fronts still. I really don't. And that's where I will say, I'm realistic, is I didn't expect Arsenal to win the league this season because I didn't think the squad was good enough and I didn't think Arteta could get us across the line. Now, both of those things can be true. If you think one of them's true, one of them's not, fair play, but they could actually both be true. He might not be the man to get us across the line, and the squad might not be good enough to go and compete on all four fronts, because I haven't seen this manager compete on any more than one front in 5 years, mate. Yeah. We went for a top four, no trophy, just top four, failed. Next season, we went for the title, and then we were in all four competitions. We ended up getting dumped out of them, and we're going for one in every single time. This season, we were never in a title race. What was the one we were going for? The Champions League. We failed on that front. So we need to be competitive in more than one trophy. Don't get me wrong, I'd love him to win just one, but I want us to be competitive in the others. I don't want to be dumped out of everything every time. We get to New Year, Happy New Year, Arsenal are out of everything again. Like, it ain't like that. It should not be like that at this club, mate.
No, and I think January is a perfect thing to look at when you look at this, because for the first time in a very, very long while, we went into January in everything. 50-50 in the league, but we was in the League Cup and we was in the FA Cup coming up, and by the end of January we was out of all of them apart from one, and why? Because the squad wasn't strong enough. Not the team then. The squad wasn't strong enough to cope with those big games week in, week out. Points were dropped in the league, knocked out to Newcastle, knocked out to Man United. Was in a healthy position in the Champions League, where we was through on that side because we'd done our main bit of work in the months before Christmas. But January was a bad month for us, really. And if I really look on it, this 2025 has been poor for us. From everything that we've done, there's been some good moments, of course, you know what I mean? People will jump on that, the Real Madrid thing and everything like that. And they are great moments, you know what I mean? Like 7-1 against PSV, unbelievable. But ultimately then, ultimately it didn't get us anywhere. You know, I'd rather stink the place out. You know, and this is what we're saying, like 2 clubs have stunk the place out this year. You know, have been an embarrassment to their football clubs. But one of them's going to have a better season than us. The other ain't. But one of them is. And you can't get away from those facts. You know, like, you know, Newcastle fans making me laugh yesterday, like, you know what I mean? Like, when was the last time you won anything? Hold on a minute. You've only just won something for the first time in 70 years. You know what I mean? Like, hold on a minute. But, you know, get
incredible,
back.
Isn't it? Incredible.
Get back
I did yesterday, actually, on the train at West Ham. Here he is, the bottler, because I had my Arsenal shirt on, and I thought, hang on a minute, do you support West Ham? What is happening here? You have got 1 trophy in 43 years. And then I had Tobes and Lawless in the group chat when I was laughing about it, going, well, he's right. You are bottlers. We're bottlers as well. What gives you the right to shout that you're bottlers, you're not bottlers, and us bottlers, and you're not bottlers? And they got really like thing about it. And I thought, what's happening here? Like, am I on a different planet or something? There is zero lack of awareness. There's zero awareness of anyone's football. Do you know what I mean? These people shouting bottlers, yeah, when their bottle is the whole of their life. There is zero self-awareness at some of these football clubs, bro. I'm sorry.
It is incredible. But I look at Newcastle and you know, I don't
like Newcastle. I've always liked Newcastle.
At the end of the day, they've had a fantastic season. They've had a better season than us. You know what I mean? Like, they've won a cup trophy and they're going to get into the Champions League. And I get it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't come around and say we've had a better season. I agree with it. Like, they don't turn around going, when was the last time you won something? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you haven't won nothing. You know, well, when was the last time you won something before that? Like, you know what I mean? But that's what it does, and that's what the pressure takes off you a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you know, all of a sudden they'd be saying, like, you know, if we won something this year, those West Ham fans wouldn't be able to walk along the street calling you a bottler. We've put ourselves up for this, Dan. We've put ourselves up for this at this moment in time because of what's happened in the last couple of years. Now, I'll sit here and I'll tell you, and I was talking about this today. You know, when has second been an embarrassing position to be in? Like, it's like now, oh, it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment. You've come second in the Premier League. It's embarrassing. I've never known it to be an embarrassment before. I've never known us to get this sort of.
I think, look, I get why they laugh, because you ain't won. When you come second and you win a cup or you win a whatever, people won't laugh at you. It's because we're trophyless. That's why they're laughing. I don't think they're laughing. I know it's second again, LA. They're doing it because it winds. They apparently winds us up. It don't actually wind me up. What winds me up more is that we ain't won anything. That does wind me up, because I don't care. You know, exactly where we come, really. You know, if we won said to me now, second and nothing or fourth and a cup, I'm taking fourth and a cup. Yeah, because it's Champions League and you're doing a trophy. But it doesn't mean the people who come second and ain't won anything are a shambles of an embarrassment. It's just frustrating in the last 5 years we're trophyless. That's what's embarrassing.
Yeah, no one will ever give me any. If someone comes up to me second again, yeah, you'd love to be second again. Like, you know, you'd love to be in that position, because 4 years ago, Dan, 5 years ago, when we was coming fifth, I'd love to have been in second. You know what I mean? And all these fans and of other clubs and all that, like a cheer, you know, like will be all wanting to get in the Champions League and celebrating Champions League. Tottenham Hotspur, I remember coming out of their ground when they beat us 3-0, was celebrating because they come fourth, right? But when you come second, it's an insult, you know, so it isn't. But what it is, if you say, like, oh, you ain't won a trophy again, it hurts. That's what wrangles me and it gets me, and I do. You know, I think what's the annoying thing for us Arsenal fans at this moment in time is I think that we are believe that we're good enough to have won a trophy. Yes. I believe this team's good enough to win trophies, like, you know, and it's not. That's the frustration for me. And when you look at that and you go, well, why hasn't that happened? And I can see why. Well, it's because of the manager or whatever. I get that, you know. That's the thing, because I do look at this team now. I do look at the central defenders we've got, and I do think that we've got what I'm going to say is we've got the players to win a trophy. There's no two way. Listen, how can I say this without being? disrespectful Man United and Spurs. I'm going to just say it, right? We are far, far better footballing team than pair of them.
100%.
Right, but then one of them's going to win a trophy. Now, that's the frustrating thing for me, is that we're better than Crystal Palace and they've won a trophy. I'm having a go at these teams for doing it, like, you know what I mean? I would argue that there isn't a lot between Arsenal and Newcastle. And Newcastle deserved to win it because they beat us in the semi-final. We didn't have enough to get through. Like Manchester City this season have not been good enough to win a trophy. What's the difference between them and this line? Why couldn't they have had 4 games? Someone said it yesterday, like, why couldn't the Man City had 2 or 3 games like this season, like they did last season? We win the league comfortably. You need a little bit of luck and whatever, but I know people don't want to hear that. It's just frustrating that we haven't won nothing, Dan. It really is frustrating, like, you know.
Frustrating as hell that we haven't won something. And look, it's time to deliver. And on that, the speech that Arteta gave, I wanted to get your thoughts on after the game yesterday. Last season, he told us not to be satisfied with second place. This season, he said that he's disappointed and he still wants us to dream that we can get this over the line and that one day we'll celebrate trophies. He's also mentioned that the people upstairs need to do their job, which I thought was very, very key. And then what I didn't like was him basically making excuses as to why we haven't won. What we've had to deal with, circumstances this season. Anybody else in this position would be nowhere near where we want to dream of. What I took from it just quickly was he was kind of arrogant there, saying, look, I've come second. What more do you want me to do? Nobody else would get anywhere near second place. I'm the G, basically. Found that very arrogant and a bit pathetic. And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was do your job upstairs. Now, let me tell you, he did not say that last season, nor did he say it the season before. What he said was, we will, not they will. That tells me he ain't no longer in control, mate. This Andrea Berta is. And that's why yesterday I took him saying we need them to do their job upstairs. It's up for the upstairs to decide. That to me says that he is no longer in charge of transfers, Lee. So I thought that was very, very interesting what he said yesterday. That's what I took from it. Could be talking rubbish. Some people might think I am. That's what I took from it. We have to allow the people upstairs to do their job. That means it's Andrea Berta and co. That's what I think, Lee. What did you make of it all yesterday, what he said?
I didn't like the speech, if I'll be really honest. For me, I felt it was like looking for too many excuses and things like that. Like, you know, I'm sorry. The club have done a lot of damage to me in January. As I've said it before, they had me. They had me on the palm of their hand. I'm just talking as an individual. They had me they could do whatever they wanted to do. They ruined that all in January because by not we knew what we needed. We knew we needed strength if we was going to be winning anything. We spend a lot of money and everything like that, and they just chose to do nothing. So I'm never going to be wholeheartedly in at this moment in time with the team. Like, I've lost a little bit of that love that I had for this team and club over what had been built up over the last 2 or 3 years. So much so that when they walked around the ground last season, I was there all the time. Like, you know, I didn't yesterday. You know, I said, that's me off now. Like, you know, I listened to what Mikel had, and I thought, nah, not for me. I didn't like it. I didn't like what he said. Didn't like what he was going on about. The one thing I did like was he says, like, while I'm on the beach, you know, the people upstairs have got to do their job. I like that. I like that. You know,
did you take it as I took it though? Did you take it as I'm no longer in charge, or did you take it as?
I think he's always in charge. He's the manager. He's the manager, Dan.
And you think that will be the case? You still think that will be the case? He'll get say on transfers still.
Well, I think he's probably told him who he wants.
Okay.
Go and get them done, and you know, I think then you go and get it done. You know, or damn near. I don't know what happened last season, but something went wrong. You know what I mean? So I think that there is. I don't think that you're going to get somebody come in and go, right, I'm in charge of things now. You've been here 5 years. I'm going to give you what you want, not what you want. You know, I'm going to give you what I want, not what you want. I think that there will be compromises, like, you know, But I think that there will be, look, what do we need, Mikel? What do you think we need, Mikel? What do you need? We need better. Well, we need this and we need that. Right, let's get that done. That's your job now to get them over the line. I don't think it is Mikel's job. It should never have been Mikel's job to get players. Yes, help and be influenced. And I mean that by like, if you, to try and, sometimes as you see from players, like they go, oh, the reason I come to this such and such club because the manager made the effort and come and see me and all that. So I think that there's that involvement, whether it be a phone call or personally popping in and seeing them and whatever. But I do think that Berta's got a job on his hands. He's going to have to bring in 3 or 4 players. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, Mikel's not saying to him, right, I want... he can't go. You know what I mean? These conversations would have took place, Dan, like, you know what I mean? And I think that it may be a little bit of the power taken away from Mikel, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't know if you think. I think it's a bloody good thing. Concentrate on what you're best at doing, and that is coaching and trying to get Arsenal to win games of football. I think that's how it should be. I don't think he should be involved in all of that stuff. I think he should have an influence in it. But when it comes to it, that's it. You know, I want this and I want this and I want that. Right, go and get it done.
Look, I personally believe Andrea Berta should be allowed to do his job, which is the expert of his job, which is to get players in. I don't think Mikel Arteta has done a great job of getting players in. I'm not saying it's a horrific job before everyone starts losing their minds, but out of 31 players he signed, there's about 8 that I do like, which means there's over 20 that I'm not too much of a fan of, right? That have since gone or been natural wastage or just ain't been good enough or been loaned out still now. Talking about Tavares and Lokonga and Vieira and Cedric and Pablo Mari and all these guys that we've had that haven't lasted at the club, right? You can say, yes, well done and big up to players like Declan Rice and Thomas Partey and Julian Timber and co. But for me, there's been some that I'm still a question mark of or I just ain't been a fan of. Yeah. I think he's had his time to do that. And I think Edu's had his time to help him. I think this guy is very, very good. From what we can see previously, you just look at his CV, you look at what he's done for Atletico Madrid. It was unbelievable, some of the players he brought in. And key here, Lee, as well, the players he sold. Yeah. It wasn't just who he bought in. It was players that he actually got rid of and the money he got from still. So for me, I think this is going to be a very, very good, a turning point for the better, a positive turning point. It has to be. Right, Arsenal have to get more positive now. We've got to go and win stuff. We've got to deliver. This ain't about trying to give journeys and progress and look at how far we've come. 8th to 2nd. All that stuff stops now. I don't want to hear anything more about that crap. That, to me, is not what Arsenal should be. We shouldn't have ever been in bloody 8th, yeah? That was the thing what winds me up. Wow, look at the 8th to 2nd. What the hell are we doing? We should never have been 8th. We're not Everton. You know, we're not West Ham. It's not what we do. Yeah, 8th place should never be 8th it was. Oh, we would do well in 8th, weren't we? And then we come 2nd. It was unbelievable. We never saw that coming. We thought we'd come 8th, 9th or 10th every year. No, we didn't. Yeah. Everton would be amazing if they got 2nd. Why is that? Because they're not expected to. Arsenal 2nd for us should not be an achievement. Right. So that's why I get peeved when I hear fans going, it's unbelievable coming 2nd again. 3 years 2nd. That is unbelievable. No, it's not. I haven't won anything. Let's go and win stuff alongside competing for the league. That's why when people ask me, who's had a better season? Chelsea, because they've won a cup, or Man United, if they won a cup. None of them. For Man United, Chelsea and Arsenal, it cannot be a magnificent season anyway. Anyhow that this finishes. Finishing with a Conference Cup and the top 4 after spending 1.5 billion is not an amazing season. Yeah, winning a Europa League and coming 16th in the league is not an amazing season. Whatever way you want to butter it up, it ain't. You might be doing that, but it ain't an amazing season for a club the stature of your Man United. Yeah, Chelsea winning a Conference League shouldn't even be in the Conference League. They're above that. Because they win it, we won this, unbelievable season. No, it's not. You've won a trophy that a competition you shouldn't be in because it's crap. It's for the dross. Let's just say how it is. Do you know what I mean? We should be competing for the league and winning trophies alongside it. That's what Arsenal Football Club should be doing. And if I'm honest with you, that's what Man United and Chelsea should be doing as well. But they're run like by morons at the moment. Yeah. So for me, that's the way I see it next season. We go into this summer and we go big. And that was what I wanted to ask you on now. Kroenke has come out, Josh Kroenke. I've not read the whole statement. If I'm honest with you, I don't really want to. But from what I hear and understand, we're going to spend, we're going to invest, It's going to be a big summer. Mikel Arteta has come out in a press conference and said it's going to be a huge summer. Andrea Berta has been appointed, and that's his job, to get us a good summer. I think they know they fucked up the last 2 windows. They must do. So I expect something big now. I think the fans deserve a big window, Lee.
Yeah, I do as well, especially after, I was talking to Russ yesterday on the way home, and Russ hit the nail on the head. We've spent nothing in 2 windows and a net spend of 5 million in another.
Shambles.
Well, there you go. You know what I mean? So do Arsenal fans deserve a win? Yeah, I think you do when you like there'd be that sort of money spent and the money that we spend and everything like that. I do think. And also I've got to say this, Dan, that when you put it in the programme that you're going to invest, then you better. Simple as that. Right. Like, no good like
well, last time he told us be excited and we weren't. They've also lied to us before. Let's hope they ain't lying now.
Yeah, you can say that it can be misintruding some sort of thing or whatever. You put that in the match day programme that we're going to invest. Once you say that, Dan, I'm sorry, that's set in stone now. How much he's going to invest in, I don't know, but I would think that it would be substantial. I think it is now time to be. Something's got to change at this club. Something's got to change. We've got ourselves into a position, like as you said, like we was 8th and 8th, then we're getting into 2nd, and let's be honest, the last 3 years, Dan, we've not celebrated Champions League, like had a party about it and all that. So that shows you the standards have gone up. We're not sit out on the streets having parties because we're there. I remember having celebrations at Newcastle, somewhere else when we're getting Champions League football against Wigan in the final game of the season, we're celebrating, we're getting top 4. Those days are gone. You know what I mean? The expectation level's gone up. But to get over the line, it's not easy. Now, I don't care what anybody says. If Arsenal won 4 FA Cups in the next 4 years, right, there'll still be people wanting Mikel out because they want the bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted Arsene Wenger out and he was winning cups, right?
Yep.
We want a challenge and feel like we go into every season that we've got a chance of winning the league. And we had that taken away from us.
Yep.
So that's still got to be the objective. And to do that, Dan, you know what I mean? Because I can tell you this now, winning the FA Cup for Crystal Palace, I'll have a pound to a penny that they don't get into the Champions League next season. It's not going to put them into the Champions League, like, you know. And people go like, you know, Tottenham and Man United, right? They should be now, whoever wins that trophy, right? It's such a big trophy for them, right? They should be given the right to defend it. But they don't want to defend it, do they? Why don't they want to defend it? Because they don't want to be in it in the first place. So we've got to be competing, as you said, and picking up trophies along the way. I don't think there's any. It's a cheap thing to do, Dan.
No.
Two windows out of 3 without spending no money ain't going to get you it. Like, you know. Now people will say Liverpool have done it that way, like, you know, and they have. But Liverpool had class players to start off with, and Liverpool will go again. Manchester City will go again, and Newcastle and all these other teams will go again. There has to be some sort of thing, you know, when people say a little bit of context of it all. Newcastle have had a wonderful season this season. Where was they last season? Did they get to the Champions League? No, they dropped out of it. Arsenal have kept the consistency going. So they've got to be given a little bit of credit for that, but you've got to get over the line now. I don't care, you know what I mean? Yeah. If you think Arteta's the man to get you over the line, I'm talking about the board now, then you back him. And you give him everything that he needs. Then if he doesn't get you over the line, we then know it's the manager.
Yeah, facts. That's what we want to know by the end of the season.
Simple as it is
it's
now.
simple. No, it's simple. At the end of the season, we'll know if he's the guy that we believe can get us across the line. I've made my mind up. Some people ain't. Some people are still confused. I'm going to do these super chats because they've come in. Fizzy says, how about they confirm and not suggest a huge summer? Facts. Don't say we're going to have a huge summer and then go and bring in someone and it's 150 million spent. We need to double that. Yeah. Let's not muck around. I'm not unrealistic to expect us to go and win spot, spend money on £600 million worth of players. That ain't going to happen. We've got to be hitting £300 million here. Man City have spent 200 million. They're going to spend more in the summer. Liverpool are moving mad. They've already bought Frimpong. They've got Marmadashvili to replace Alisson when he goes. They've got Kroenke from Bournemouth pretty much sewn up. Adam Wharton they're going for from Palace, and they still want a creative midfielder, Florian Wirtz, and potentially a striker. They ain't mucking around, yeah? Liverpool and Man City are spending. Manchester United will spend. They're getting Cunha, potentially a couple more others. They will catch up, whether it's, position-wise, they will catch up money-wise. Tottenham will have to, yeah? Chelsea are going to spend money. They're going to get a striker, a goalkeeper, a centre-half, for sure. We cannot stand still. Newcastle are going to, and they're going to keep their best players. So if we can't stand still and start making signings like Marino, Calafiori, and Sterling, we will be in the top 4 next year. That is guaranteed. It ain't we could be do the league. We ain't winning the league with the squad we've got. We've proven that. Go and bloody spend some money, man. That's where I'm at.
I think Sophie makes a good point there. Maybe, we was with fair play and all that, we was having to be on the borderline of it and all that. There's no excuses for that now.
Well, maybe with a Declan Rice signing, but there's no excuses for that now.
No, there's no issues for that now. There's no issues for that now. So maybe last season there was a little bit of that, and I get that because Newcastle have been on that thing as well, weren't they? Really, there's no excuses now.
No, there ain't no excuses now. Shaitanya, he's coming with this saying Arteta can't get anything more out of this squad. You either back him with quality players and a proper striker or let him leave as he's at
100%.
There we go.
What's a super chat that is?
Yeah, facts, mate. Absolute facts. This comes in from Conrad who says, Dan, our wages paid to bang average players is mind-blowing. Correct. Use our wage and attract proper players to come and get us across the line. I don't understand the wage bill at Arsenal. I do not get it at all. It's gone back to the Arsene Wenger days where you're putting Kolasinac on 175 a week. We've got Martinelli on 180 a week. We've got Zinchenko on 175. We've got Jesus on 265. Kai Havertz on 290 a week. Calafiori was on 25k at Bologna. He's now on 125k. Marino is on 115 a week. He was on 30k. Well, what the hell is going on here? Like, we shouldn't be able to have to go, do you want to come for Arsenal? Not really. I'll come if you pay me loads of money. They should go, yeah, I want to come and play with the Arsenal. We don't like that anymore. It's about how much you're going to pay me. It's unbelievable, really. But there we go. Lawrence has put in a few super chats and he's disagreeing with a couple of us, mate. He says, Lee, I respect your opinion, mate, because you see things the way you are, but your constant flip-flopping on Arteta is mind-boggling. How many one more years do you give him before you realise he's been a flop? Before you answer that, Lee, as well, there's a couple more that he's come in with. Lee, how can you say... He's going for you, Lawrence. Lee, how can you say we're a better team than United when they've won 2 domestic cups in the last 2 years, as well as being in a European final? And then thirdly, he says, Dan, let's face it, mate, the AKBs who infested our fan base when Wenger was in charge have returned now as Arteta knows best. They are the biggest embarrassment to our club. There's a lot there, Lee. I'll let you come in on it, though.
Well, the first one I go on, for me, this is the last year because I think there's context in last season. I do. I think, the injuries and whatever, I do think that there's a little bit of context in that. And also, we don't know if he was backed up for the striking job. And until he gets a striker, if he gets a striker in next season where we're like we are where we are, there's no excuses. No excuses for me, like, you know what I mean? I and I've said that all along. So for me, that is where I'm at. I do think last season, you know what I mean? How can anybody slag him off for last season coming second with the run that we had, but City were unbelievable? That's my opinion. I'm not going to go away from that fact. You know what I mean? Like any other season, we win the league last season. Any other season, but Manchester City just done a mental thing that I've never seen before. We lost 1 game in 17 and 1 draw. They won 17 and drew 1. You see, you know what I mean? Like, that don't happen very, very often. for me, like, you know, are we better than Man United? Come on, I've watched Man United. Like, yes, they've won a couple of trophies and all that. Like, and yeah, you know, that means that they've had a better season and whatever. They're not a better team. The league never lies. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you know, and so I would go on from it there. And listen, it doesn't matter. This thing about fans with the cult attitude of Arteta, the cult attitude or the whatever and all that, like, that ain't making a blind bit of difference. It's up to the board whether they will like him or not. And the board and the owners do. So it don't matter if he's got a cult following or he's got this or you don't think he's got a cult following. Oh, I think there is a bit of a cult following. I don't. And when people go, oh, that's like, I want to jump on the bandwagon. What at the end of the day, what is bad about having a cult following? That, you know, good luck to him. He's got that cult following. I'm not in that cult, but like there are people that generally are. You know, so what if they are? And so what if he has got a cult following? There's nothing we can do about it. I can do about it. But the only people that can do about it is the owners. And I'm sorry, like, you know, they're backing him at this moment in time. Or are they? Well, we're about to find out.
Look,
a good debates, like, you know what I mean?
No, it is good super chats. And there's nothing wrong with people calling us out, by the way.
No, I love it. I love it. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the end of it. And listen, as an Arsenal fan, what I want is Arsenal to win trophies and win and be up there. Like, you know what I mean? I've never demanded Arsenal win the league. I've always said challenge for the league. Arsenal did not challenge for the league this season, Dan. Right? No. So I think now he's under pressure. The last 2 years, we've challenged for the league. Now, if you're challenging for the league, you've got a chance of winning it. All right, you know what I mean? If you come second in the league, you've had a chance of winning it somewhere along the line. So you're challenging. Now, these guys have got to, you know, make it happen. But, like, you know, I'm with you, that, you know, if Arsenal win cups, and I still say it now, if Arsenal winning the FA, won the FA Cup this season, won the League Cup next season, second, there would still be people wanting him out. It's not necessarily about winning trophies. It's people want us to win the league. And that's where that is where we are. And maybe we're giving up things to win the league. I don't know, like, you know. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that, like, you know.
We will. And big up to the super chats, man. We appreciate them. Thank you so much. And all the comments that you're interacting with us is great stuff. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe, please, people. We're on the way to 50K, which is incredible. And football's 12 man's the same. So let's make sure we can get us both up to our targets, please, people, by hitting the like and subscribe button. Look, to be honest with you, Lee, I wanted to end on this. The 4 best players in our team, in my opinion, are Gabriel, Saliba, Saka and Rice. I genuinely believe those are the best 4 players. Now, you can talk about Odegaard, you can talk about Timber, you can talk about others, but I genuinely believe that they are the best four players. 3 of them are running out of contract. Saka, Saliba and Gabriel. We haven't really spoken about that as much, but that is a massive job for Andrea Berta as well, by the way. It isn't just about who he brings in. It's about how he keeps people here that need to be here happy. Thomas Partey's got that kind of contract scenario happening. There's rumours today suggesting Partey wants to stay. There's also rumours suggesting we've got a few links with Brian and Buemo and some of these other guys that would be a link with. So it's all good news. It's all going to be busy, right? But these 4 players, other than Rice, you know, who, let's be real, like, I've got to be honest, I think he's unbelievable. I think the other 3 are just as good, and we need them to stay. Are you confident? That they'll sign these 3?
Yeah, I think they will do. I think that at this moment of time, yeah, I do. I think that that this moment in time, I'm quite confident, yeah, that they will do. Like, you know. I'm not 100% sure about Gabriel. I think that maybe, like, if a big offer comes in, I think they may. But I think with Saliba, Saka, Rice, I think they're all pretty much will be okay. But listen, this other thing that it really does wind me up when they turn around and go, well, they better win things. Otherwise, they're off. That didn't help. Trent's gone because of winning things. It's not all about that. It's, you know what I mean? Like, you know, you want to be winning things. But Arsenal could go on and win 2 Premier Leagues in the next 2 years and Saliba could say, right, I'm off now. So it's not all about winning. You know what I mean? Like, because they can win and still want to go. You know, so, but at this moment, I think that, you know, they're in the right place at the right time of their careers. And also, people slag off Levy. He kept Harry Kane at that club for the whole of the best time of his career without winning anything. So if Spurs can do it, so can we, Dan.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, look, Saliba is definitely going to get serious interest from Real Madrid. There's rumours that Gabriel's going to get interest from Saudi. I have genuine confidence that Saka will sign and probably has near enough signed already. The other two, I'm not 100% certain they will, but I think they probably will. What I will say on the flip side of that, let's be real. Even if they do sign, it don't mean they ain't going. Because contracts don't mean anything at all. Let's be real. Yeah. Because Harry Kane signed contracts and he, you know, didn't mean anything in the end. Do you know what I mean? It weren't like he was going on a free. These two need to sign, these three need to sign so that we don't lose them on a free. But even if they do, it doesn't mean they're then Arsenal forever because they're young. So remember that, you know, in the next couple of years, we'll be doing this again and having this conversation again, even if they do sign. So it's very, very difficult to say that these are your players now. The contracts actually don't mean much anymore, if I'm honest with you. It's all about money. That's the only thing it means. It doesn't mean you're committed. It just means now if you do go, it's going to be more money. That's literally all contracts mean. You know, when Tony Adams was there, he used to just say, yeah, no worries, don't care how much, put me on, I'll sign it. Steven Gerrard, John Terry, these guys don't happen anymore. There's no loyalty anymore, you know. I genuinely think Saka could be one of the ones that proves me wrong, but I don't know that. I'm just hoping that, you know, and I believe that. So I think we've got to try and keep him as best we can, keep him happy. I'd keep Thomas Partey and add him to that list as well. And then you add to it and add that quality. But, you know, it's going to be a busy summer. It's going to be a huge one for not just Arsenal, for everyone. I think it's going to be one of the busiest summers, Lee. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely feel like every club in that top 6, 7 is going to spend a lot of money. And I know there's only a certain amount of players, but Arsenal have to do their business quick because the players we link with, Gyökeres, we know what price he is. Zubimendi, we know the price. We're looking at Rodrigo, apparently, we know the price. You know, Eze, he's got a release clause. We know the price. You know, I saw Sanket being linked today from Bilbao. He's got a release clause. We know the price. It ain't like we're trying to negotiate it. We're trying to get a player that might not want him out. And, you know, it's very difficult. These are easy transfers to get done. And all those names I'd be happy with. So I got a feeling Arsenal might have a good summer. And that's what I want, yeah, because then we can actually look at it and go, right, the Kroenkes have invested. They've employed the guy to get the business done. They're taking it seriously now, at least. Now it is on Mikel Arteta. And if he can't get us across the line with those players, he has to go lead, doesn't he?
Said it all. It's exactly that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, exactly that. Once you've got all of those players signed, that's it. Then you can't. Somewhere along the line, you've got to say, you know, people are. What's the word? Like, you can't keep making excuses. I get there's excuses for certain things all the time, like, you know what I mean. But for me, once those players are there, that is it, done and dusted. You know what I mean? Like, I go back to a couple of years ago, like, you know, when Arsene Wenger went a couple of years ago. It's a long while ago now. Arsene Wenger, runner up. Then he went and got Sol Campbell, like, you know what I mean. Bosch got him, got Gilberto, got players in that would go on and win in the league, and that's what it done. But I'm so, like, you know, people go, I'm saying it on here now. Now, if Arsenal come runners up again next season and they lose the Champions League final and they've just lose by a point and all that, like, I'm not saying that he should be gone, right? What I'm saying is, if we had a season like we had this season, Dan, right, where we've not challenged for the title, not that, he's got to go. He's got to go. You know what I mean? That's it. No excuses. And maybe if he doesn't win, I'm sorry, like, if Arsenal have the same season that they've had now and win the Carabao Cup, I'm not going to be happy. I'm sorry, like, that's it. We've won a trophy. Does that make it all right? No. You've got to be context of it this season. You know what I mean? This season's been a shambles. Right? He can't have another one like this. And I do think that he has to. All right, let's put the pressure on him. He's got to win one of the big ones next season. He's got to win the league or the FA Cup or the Champions League. Dan, it's hard to do. It's very, very hard to do. But he hasn't. Hang on, if he'd have won 2 FA Cups and a League Cup in the last 5 years, there wouldn't be no pressure on him going to win those things. Right? But because we haven't won anything, there's so much pressure on him now. So much pressure. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But for me, I ain't having another season like this. Do you know, I come away from the Emirates yesterday, like the year before, couldn't wait to get back. I'm glad the season's finished. I've had enough of it. I'm thank God it's over.
Yeah, I must admit, I haven't enjoyed it this season. And
no, I've not enjoyed it. And
no. Home and away, by the way. Home and away. There's been a handful of games which have been a pleasure to watch. The away games I enjoyed were the 5-1s. We beat West Ham, Palace and Sporting 5-1. I've come away thinking brilliant. Funnily enough, we beat Real Madrid and Man City 5-1. Maybe that was something there. It's a 5-1 all round. But the 5-1s were good. The rest of them, not so great for me. I haven't massively enjoyed it. If I'm honest with you, I didn't particularly enjoy the North London derbies as much as I usually do. I don't know why. We won them both. Normally I'm buzzing. And I love beating Tottenham, don't get me wrong. But saying about it, I weren't happy with the way we were playing. I weren't happy with the style. I haven't been happy with the squad, the sub bench, the tactics, the team selections, the in-game management. I just haven't enjoyed it, Lee. I haven't. And I really hope if we do get these players in, that we change our style. And maybe that's for another show. But I'd want to see us exciting to watch again. Because I enjoyed watching Arsenal a couple of years ago. I did. I thought when we went for that title race the first time, that is probably up there, football-wise, with some of the best I've ever seen us play. Yeah. In terms of, back in the Wenger days, and I've seen some great football. I've been very, very lucky. However, when I look at what we were doing to teams, it was embarrassing, mate. We were blitzing them. Absolutely.
Yeah, we haven't done that this season.
We ain't done that, mate. And even last season, we didn't do it. We did it at the back end, not the start. Very rigid, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, 2-0.
I want us going back to that then.
Blitzing,
I want us going back to that where I'm being entertained. I'm sorry.
100%.
I want that
100%. Yeah, we should do. All right, listen, people, we're going to leave it there. Big up to everyone that's in the house. Make sure you do me a favour. Hit the like and subscribe. Before we do finish, actually, judges, congratulations for winning trophies, mate. Because, you've how many more trophies you won now?
3 this year, 3 cups.
Go on then, talk to us then. Go on, boast about it. Go on. What you won?
Well, obviously winning the county cup is the main one. The Essex County Cup was a big cup for us. To win that. Then we won. I think it's like another. There's 2 cups we play in the league, and we won that on penalties, and that was a tough game. And believe it or not, the one we won yesterday was the easiest out of 3. You know what I mean? 6-2. Didn't expect it to be as easy as it was. Could have been by a lot more, if I'll be honest. So, but we played well. So to get all 3 over the line, it was very, very good. And I'm going to say this now: out of all the 3 teams, this is the weirdest thing. The team in the lowest position in the leagues was our toughest game that took us to penalties. You know what I mean? So you never know in football, do you? You know what I mean? So, it was a sweet day yesterday. And I say, nice to pick up all 3 trophies, 3 cups. So I'm happy with that. Yep. Thank you very much.
Mate. Legend, well done. Keep it up, and fair play to you. Look, we're going to send you over to It's LB. LB's ranting and raving because Man City have pulled out of the Florian Wirtz race. It's good to see. He's going to get a cooking later on at 8 p.m. So go show him some love. Go spam the chat with Dan Potts and Lee Judge's raid, and show him some love. And Judges, I'll let you say goodbye to people, mate.
Yeah, 1 game to go. Enjoy the weather, and then we can all get on the beach and let other people do their work.
100%.